In this video, we shall see how easy it is to send a payment transaction from a hook account with just few lines of code. I'll be using macros for it. To demonstrate this, I'll be writing a very simple hook. It just forwards incoming XAH to another account. Let's see how it goes. This is what we are going to implement. Let's say this is the hook account. It has some business logic on it. You have users, a couple of them, interacting with the hook account and making payments for your service. Whenever a user makes a payment, the hook account forwards it to a master account or your personal account. The hook account can also be black-holed, maybe because it has user data in hook store which shouldn't be tampered with, so black-holing the account gives more credibility. Well, these are all the accounts on Xahau, by the way. Now let's switch to Hooks Builder. Select the starter template. Let's first create a couple of accounts. Let's name it as hook account because that's where we shall install the hook. Another account, let's name it as master account where we forward the payment. Now let's get the account ID of the master account. Copy the R address of the master account, go to hook services, get the account ID and copy this. I'm just hard coding the master account to keep things simple. Usually we get this account ID from hook parameter or hook state, but that's for another video. For now, I'll keep this very simple. That's why I'm hard coding it, because the focus is on making a simple transaction using a macro. So this is 20 bytes. Account ID is always 20 bytes. Let's get the hook account, that is the account on which this hook is installed. This hook is not yet installed on any account. Once it's installed, this API will fetch the hook account, that is hook_account. Now let's get the account which triggered this hook. Where are we going to get this from? From originating transaction. We have an API called OTXN_field, which means originating transactions field, using which we can fetch any fields from the originating transaction, that is the transaction which triggered this hook. If it's a payment transaction, then it might be a memo, like SF memo, or a destination account or destination tag, account, amount, source tag, or anything. Here we are interested in account field. What if it's an outgoing transaction, in which case the account will be the hook account itself? Let's check that. Let's check for that scenario. We have a macro called buffer_equal_20, which checks the first 20 bytes of the past parameters. If it's equal, then it's an outgoing transaction. We simply end this by accepting the transaction. It's an outgoing transaction. We will simply accept it, and that's the end of the flow if it's an outgoing transaction. Let me bring these helper macros for accepting and rejecting the transaction. So 2 more steps to go. Let's get the amount from the originating transaction so that we can forward that exact amount. This is the API we need. We already used it. But let me further clarify. Let's switch to the test tab here. This is the payment transaction. The hook will be hooked on to the payment transaction. So using OTXN_field, you can fetch any of these fields value, including the hook parameters, which we will see in another video. Let's get back. So now we are fetching the amount we received. So this has to be SF amount. Amount is 8 bytes, by the way. But if it's an IOU transaction, then the amount will be 48 bytes. which again we will see in another video. But here let's only allow for native tokens. If it's not 8 bytes, which means it's a non-XAH payment, we shall simply accept it and end the flow here. It's non-XAH transaction. Accepted. If it's XAH, then the final step is to forward it to the master account. We let Xahau D know that we will only be making one transaction, so we reserve that. And then we declare a variable txn, the size of which I don't remember now. Next, we use a simple macro called prepare underscore payment underscore simple. So this is very important now. Select it, pass in txn, amount in drop, we have a macro for that, amount to drop. Pass in the amount we fetched previously. We know the destination account. We don't have a destination tag or source tag, so let's just pass 0 and 0 here. For the size of txn, let's simply hover over this macro. Scroll down, this is the definition. Yeah, we have it here. Prepare payment simple size. Copy it and paste it here. Now that's it. We prepared the transaction. Now the final step is to emit it. So let's emit this transaction. The hash will be 32 bytes. Call this hook API and pass the txn variable and store the hash in emit hash. Pass in txn. For some reason, if it doesn't copy 32 bytes, which means there is some error. So let's check for that condition. If it's not 32 bytes, then just reject it with a message. I'll write failed, please try again later. If everything is fine up until here, then accept the transaction. I'll just say amount forwarded successfully. That's it. Save, compile, install on hook account. It should be triggered on payment, so select payment and set hook. Let's quickly test it. We will send something from Alice. Observe the balances here. I'll send one XAH to hook account. So one XAH will be sent from Alice from here to hook account, and exactly after 4 seconds, around 4 seconds, it will be forwarded to master account. Just look at it. Okay, 4 seconds later. It got forwarded to master account. You can test it further. In the code, we are not using the source and destination tags here. We can optimize a bit by eliminating these fields by preparing our own template instead of this macro. We will do that in upcoming videos. That's it. Hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and please stay subscribed for more videos like this. Thank you.